That's on me. Apologies, Chair.
Are we good?
We're good now.
Take two.
All right, take two. You guys bear with me. All right. Good morning again, everyone, and welcome to the board here this morning. I'll now call to order the Clackamas County Board of Commissioners business meeting on June 11th, 2026. County Administrator Gary Schmidt, start off with the roll there.
Yes, thank you, Chair. First, our staff support today, County Counsel Billy Williams, Acting Clerk to the Board, Tony Mayernick. Roll call, Commissioner Schrader.
Here.
Commissioner Helm.
Here.
Commissioner Savas.
Present.
Chair Roberts.
Here. All right, thank you. If you'd all please stand, if able, and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so first up is public communication. Testimony is limited to 3 minutes per person. As always, I ask comments to be respectful and courteous. As a reminder, you can also email submissions for public communication at bcc@clackamas.us, and they'll be accepted as part of the public records. I'll take in-person testimony first, and I'll turn to our clerk that's going to help us moderate the in-person and virtual testimony.
Good morning. I will begin with Patricia Torrenson. Patricia, if you would come up. And then I would also ask if anyone, if you wish to comment, there are blue cards up at the front of the room. Please fill one out, drop it in the bucket, and I will collect them.
I'm here again. My name is Patricia Torsen. I'm from Malala, and I am bringing a proposal today for Feed the Need for our senior citizens of Malala, for the Malala area seniors. That we have 2 food banks in Malala that are contributing to people in need, but I've gone to the stores to ask them if we can get bread and some miscellaneous things at the senior center to help the seniors. And they say they're giving to the food banks. They don't feel that they need to do for us. And I have been trying to help by getting bread is a major thing that they need. Bread, eggs, noodles, simple things to fix. So I've been trying to help out a little bit with what I could. And they are so appreciative. I just get 4 loads of white bread, 4 loaves of brown bread. I get bagels and put a couple bagels in Ziploc bags and let them, on Friday, they have bingo. And so I let them, I set them out on the table and let them help themselves to what I can. But I can't do it very much. I'm on Social Security too. And so I'm trying to help out what I can, but there is definitely a need. These people live on such a little amount that little things, eggs, we have a farmer that brings in eggs and they share the eggs. Some of them will only take 6 so that somebody else can have 6. But there is a need out there for our seniors, and we're trying to help them. The seniors give to the center part of the nutrition program that we can, $100 a month to help out on other things. But I've talked to our board, and there is such a need for helping the people with this food situation that I want to be able to keep this up. I've been spending between $40 and $50 a week just out of my pocket to help out. They're so appreciative of it. The need is so great that I just want to keep it going, but I can't do it myself. And so I have a proposal here for the commission. I do have, I had one copy of pictures, but my printer ran out of ink. So there's one set of pictures there, and I made copies of the other. I have never done this before, and I put a letter out. I'll be done. I put a letter out first, and then I put a proposal, and I hope I did right. So thank you for everything.
And Patricia, before you leave, first of all, for all of you, this is an amazing lady. Comes here, she revs, constantly working hard to raise funds for seniors, and you're doing an amazing job. I'd ask you to stick around, and we can kind of update you on some things going on, and perhaps after the meeting, we could also catch up on some other things. So, thank you.
Next up, I have a Lynn Hyder. Lynn, if you'd please come forward. Please introduce yourself. You'll have 3 minutes.
Thank you. My name's Lynn Hyder, and I'm a bit nervous because I've never been to a county commission meeting, much less come to speak. I have been a voter for 60 years, the last 8 of them here in Oregon City. And I have always voted in favor of police, school, and fire levies until this year. And Mr. Chairman, I want to tell you that it was not anti-law enforcement at all. That vote was tax fatigue. The people of Clackamas County tend to love our law enforcement agencies. And as you know, Mr. Chairman, in your 15 years as sheriff, you enjoyed a tremendously high approval rating, and you passed several levies. But just speaking from personal experience in Oregon City, my property taxes went up 10.2% alone last year. And the levy that was put on the ballot this election comes on the heels of some very expensive but much needed fire district and school levies that were approved. So now we all find ourselves in a very difficult situation. The county did find a way to build a lovely new courthouse without going to the public for additional taxes. And I hope that whatever budget cuts were needed to facilitate that aren't coming on the backs of the sheriff's department. And I read in your KGW Digital interview that you're considering bringing the sheriff's levy back in the November election. I personally am concerned that that may be too soon, considering how voters are feeling right now, and their overwhelming dismissal of the, if I may say so, ridiculous transportation levy that was on the ballot as well. So I'm afraid November's too soon, but if you do come back, if you do find that to be necessary, I'd just ask you to read the room and consider making it a continuing levy, not one that will add new taxes.
Great. Thank you very much, and thank you for coming before the board. And that's one of the things that we've been asking is we want to hear from the public. And so, first of all, you did a great job. You're very articulate, and thank you for taking the time to come here today. And I encourage others to let us know your thoughts and opinions about it. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Next up, I have a Jay Jones. Jay Jones, please come forward. Please introduce yourself. You'll have 3 minutes.
Excellent. My name's Jason S. Jones. I go by Jay. My mom calls me Jason. I'm here on behalf of the businesses in Clackamas County. I'm the president and CEO of the North Clackamas Chamber of Commerce. I've been there almost 3.5 years. Obviously, when we had the ARPA funds that we delivered, we were able to prop up our businesses. Our business community is really impacted. We had $1.4 million. We were able to keep people going and businesses thriving. Well, those funds ended, and I've been trying to get in front of you guys to talk about a sustainable system. When I was in IT, we had development, and we could really look at different product and services and do different offers. The way we're set up, if someone comes in and they fill out a permit, none of that money goes to the Chamber of Commerce. And so we have to look at membership and sponsorship, which obviously in this socioeconomic time has been impacted. So what I have a proposal for you guys for $250,000 for the Chamber. We can develop other products and services. I have a plan to really engage our growing elderly population. We have very many senior citizen facilities in Clackamas County. And I also know that none of us can benefit for chambers going under like Wilsonville did. So I have copies here. I've worked with you guys several times since I've been in role, and we've done really good work as far as to government affairs, advocacy, development, tourism. Majority of the organizations in our state don't work with a nonprofit that benefits businesses. So there's no way for Business Oregon, any of those companies that I've talked to, all of them. And so with Clackamas County being in our name and us working hand in hand on very many projects, I would hope you guys would look at our proposal and I would hope you'd approve it. So I don't know what the protocol is, but I do have them available for you guys.
Right, thank you.
Okay, great.
I mean, to honor my time, that's good for me.
Thank you, Jay.
Thanks, Jay.
Good morning. I think that is all of my in-person comments for general public comment. However, there were a couple of folks who were a little ambiguous. If you were hoping for general public comment, now is the time. Otherwise, I will move on to virtual public comment. If you would wish to comment during general public communication, please use the raise hand feature and I will call on you in the order received. Mr. Chair, I do not have any hands raised.
All right, thank you, sir. Okay, we'll move on, and I'll now close the public communication portion and turn to Gary. What do you have first on our agenda today?
Chair, would you like me to comment on the senior center funding the county provides at this point?
Yeah, we could go ahead and stop by and address that issue, and I think a couple other folks want to make comments, so that'd be great. Go
Thank
ahead.
you. Commissioners, you'll have this on your consent agenda next week, actually, and you already have in the prior weeks. The county does provide funding to all of the senior community centers within Clackamas County, all of them, both urban and rural, to provide support for food and other services. These are funds that come from the Oregon Department of Human Services, and there's a state transportation fund for older and disabled Oregonians. So Clackamas each year, subrecipient grants provides this to those senior centers, which we've done for Malala and other areas. So we do provide that, and those range from between $500,000 to $1 million over a 2 or 3 year period. And then earlier this year, you did provide emergency funding to the Clackamas Service Center to provide food for all Clackamas residents during that loss of federal SNAP benefits. So we're doing a little bit. We're doing the best we can, but we do provide those services currently to senior centers.
Right. And to just kind of follow up on Patricia's comment, I know that's not enough, and we are working in other avenues, and we don't intend to give up. And so hopefully you can stick around. Maybe I can chat with you after the meeting if you have time. And did any other of my colleagues have any comments on this?
No, I understand, Patricia, and I thank you for coming before us again. You're such an advocate for your community, and I so appreciate that. Is it because it's not meeting the need, if you could provide us with what organization those who want to give to the Feed the Need, that would be helpful for us.
Yeah, I tried to do it in a proposal there.
Okay, all right, and it's probably over here with our clerk, so thank you very much. But I want to broadcast it to everyone, see? So that's why we're up here with the microphone, so we can tell everyone where to do it. So we'll make it available for everyone.
Thank you for what we have received already. You guys saved the Meals on Wheels program with that extra we got this year.
All right. Okay. All right. Anything else? Okay. Well, Gary, we'll go ahead and move on, and thank you.
Thank you. Next are 3 public hearings. The first public hearing is approval of a boundary change proposal number 2026-003 for sanitary services to territory located in the Parker Crest neighborhood of West Lynn. There are no county general funds involved. Jeff Munns, Assistant County Counsel, will present. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Morning, Chair and Commissioners. Another boundary change proposal. This one is an annexation into the Tri-City Service District, a component unit of our Water Environment Services Department here at the county. This annexation is to bring an undeveloped property into the district to provide sewer services for planned development of multiple single-family residences in this plot. It is inside the city of West Lynn, but in reviewing the petition, it is compliant with county code, or comp plan that is, as well as ORS 198 and the Metro Code, because this property is inside the urban growth boundary. Staff recommends approval of this. The proper notice has been sent out, and we've heard no public comment or anything further to share with you regarding this application. It is consistent with our code and ready for approval.
All right, thank you, Mr. Munns. Colleagues, any questions?
Just one quick one. Jeff, how big is the parcel?
This is, I have it here. It is. It's not real big. It's a couple acres, if I remember correctly. I've got it listed in here in the kind of deeper into the document.
It is. There's a lot of pages, right?
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of criteria to review, but it is, sorry, I wish I had that right at the top here. But yeah, I don't have it just looking at it real quick.
Okay, that's all right.
But it's not a large parcel. It
Okay.
sits off of Parker a little bit. From my memory, I want to say it's under 2 acres.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
All right. Not seeing any other questions, I'll open the public hearing on this item, so I'll turn to the clerk again. Help us moderate that.
I do not have any blue cards for this boundary proposal. If you would like to comment on boundary proposal 2026-003, please come up and fill out a card. Seeing none, I will turn to virtual commentary. If you would like to comment on boundary proposal 2026-003 and you are online, please use the raise hand feature and I will call on you in the order received. Mr. Chair, I do not have any hands raised.
All right. I'm hoping we're not too intimidating here. We want people to come forward. So thank you. I'll now close the public hearing, and if we'll go ahead and move forward. Colleagues, is there a motion?
I move we approve boundary change proposal 2026-003.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Helm has moved to approve the boundary change proposal 2026-003. Commissioner Savas has seconded that. Any further discussion? Seeing none, clerk, will you please call the poll?
Commissioner Schrader.
Aye.
Commissioner Salas.
Aye.
Commissioner Helm.
Aye.
Chair Roberts.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0, Mr. Chair.
All right, and thank you. Gary, what's next?
Thank you. The next public hearing is approval of a boundary change proposal number 2026-008 for annexation of Sandy Rural Fire Protection District into the Clackamas Fire District. No county general funds are involved. Jeff Munns, Assistant County Counsel, will present also. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. This is a boundary change that has been initiated by the Clackamas Fire District Board and as also was endorsed and approved by the Sandy Rural Fire District, and they put a measure on the ballot this last May, Measure 3-634, which passed, which dissolved the Sandy Rural Fire District, which now allows for the Clackamas Fire District to annex all of the territory of the Sandy Rural Fire District. Over the last number of years, the Clackamas Fire District has been providing services to the Sandy Rural Fire District area, and so this then sort of formalizes an agreement they've had where instead of doing it by contract, the Clackamas Fire District will take over that territory and administer it as part of their contiguous district. All proper notices have been sent out. I've received no public comment or any objections in any way to this proposed annexation. It is outside of the urban growth boundary, so it is consistent with ORS Chapter 198 as well as the county comp plan, but the Metro Code does not apply to this annexation. But with that, staff recommends the approval of this annexation.
All right, thank you, counsel. Any questions? All right, seeing none, I'll open the public hearing portion of this item and turn to the clerk again.
I do not have any blue cards for this particular boundary proposal. If you would like to comment on 2026-008, please fill out a card and come forward. Seeing none, I'll turn to virtual testimony. If you would like to testify, please use the raise hand feature and I will call on you in the order received. Mr. Chair, I do not have any hands raised.
All right. Colleagues, may I have a motion?
I move we approve, would you like to do it, Paul? No. Okay. I move we approve boundary change proposal 2026-008.
Second.
All right, any further Discussion, let's see, Commissioner Schrader has moved to approve the boundary change proposal 2026-008. Commissioner Savas has seconded that, and any other comments or concerns? Clerk, will you please call the poll?
Commissioner Helm,
Aye.
Commissioner Zavas,
Aye.
Commissioner Schrader,
Aye.
Chair Roberts.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0, Mr. Chair.
What's next, Gary?
Thank you. The next public hearing is first reading of amendments to Clackamas County Code, Chapter 8.10, short-term rentals, and declaring an emergency. Increased short-term rental permit fees to generate approximately $558,100 of revenue to support short-term program staffing requirements. No county general funds are involved. Jeff Munz, Assistant County Counsel, will present as well. Go ahead, Jeff.
Thank you. All right, I know this is an issue you're well familiar with. This comes at the end of a number of robust community meetings with individuals about the short-term rental topic, as well as a policy session just recently that Tony provided to you on June 2nd. So these are the proposed amendments we had discussed. The highlights to these amendments to Chapter 810 of the County Code are to require a land use compatibility statement for those applying for a short-term rental permit through the county, as well as an increase in fees, which in the amendments to the code, we've removed the fee percentage from the code, so you'll adopt that through your normal fee adoption process by a resolution. And we'll talk more about the other fees and fines that would be incorporated into this code. The estimates that you were provided at the policy session were that this increase in fees will raise that $558,000 roughly to cover the cost of the program, which would be 2 individuals, a code enforcement specialist and a management analyst, to receive the complaints, process the enforcement, and bring it forward to a hearings officer if the behavior isn't remedied or if the individuals don't register their short-term rentals. This code, 810, involves many other portions of our county code to enforce matters that relate to kind of livability in the county, including the noise control, Chapter 605, vehicle parking and towing, the transient room tax, code for the abatement of dangerous buildings and structures, the application of the code enforcement, building code, our solid waste code, as well as the zoning and development ordinance. This chapter itself creates new portions for enforcement, which would be failure to register their short-term rental, failure to pay the fees, the 1.5%, subletting a short-term rental, exceeding the maximum occupancy of the structures, as well as failing to include their registration for their short-term rental in any advertisement and for posting it visible from the street when it's being occupied. Also, it would be a violation of this code to transfer short-term rental registration. Anyone after transfer would have to apply for a new registration to operate. In the reports, you'll see that we've done a lot of analysis of the estimates of what people are generally paying in the county for short-term rentals. The average daily rate is $261. And so the average stay is 3 to 4 days in a short-term rental. So that generates approximately $783 to $1,044 in short-term rental revenue. We have approximately 1,300 short-term rentals we understand are operating in Clackamas County, with under 300 of them currently registered in this program, something we hope to remedy with these requirements. As part of the enforcement, I talked about the fee. The 1.5% fee would be adopted as part of Appendix A to the county code, and then any penalties that would be imposed through the enforcement process would become part of the fine schedule in Appendix B to the county code. You have not yet adopted any fines or fees. We have some staff recommendations in here. In reviewing kind of the severity of these, they're similar to a Priority 2 violation under our existing code enforcement process. And those penalties would be in the $750 to $250 range for the penalties imposed at a hearing. And the citation amount that would be issued by a code enforcement specialist under this program would be currently approximately $411. I attached some additional information for review. We can consider at the next public hearing on this matter. Considering dog services has similar sets of citations. They don't impose additional penalties at the hearing, but code enforcement, of course, has a range from Priority 1 to Priority 4 for citations and violations. And those are, like I said, citations at the time that the citation is issued, but the penalty is imposed by the hearings officer. So different criteria to consider. We look at this kind of severity, this more administrative type violations. And of course, the other provisions like noise control are enforced by the sheriff's office when they're responding to a call. And or some of the fire questions that we heard in the public meetings would be imposed by the fire district up there on the mountain. So happy to answer any questions about that, but staff recommends setting this for a second hearing on June 25th to consider approval and additional public comment.
All right, thank you, Mr. Munns. Go ahead, Commissioner Savas.
Yeah, I've read some of the emails that have been circulated, and some of them have a similar theme to what we heard, not only at the resort at the mountain when we had that meeting out there, but also prior to that, prior emails and communications over the years about STRs. So I want to make it perfectly clear, Mr. Munns, if I say anything wrong, please correct me. Don't be bashful, don't be shy, correct me. I think there's a misunderstanding that this STR ordinance requires people to pay the tourism taxes that are actually required by state. So regardless of whether we have a short-term rental policy or not, anyone that has a hotel or overnight accommodations such as short-term rentals, regardless of our policy, is required to pay those state fees. That's law, okay? The portion, when we first initiated the short-term rental, was 0.85. So for every $100, contextually here, you threw a lot of numbers out, but contextually, for every, let's say the overnight stay at an STR is $100. In the current scenario, the 0.85, that would mean 85 cents per $100, okay? So this is gonna go from 85 cents to $1.50 for one night at a $100 room rental. If it's $200, you double that proportionally. But I know you threw a lot of dollars out. It does add up to a lot of money, but I think contextually, I think people thought that we were, you know, they interpreted some of those fees as being applied to them annually, and it's not. And again, just to clarify, the, you know, those requirements apply, the state requirements apply regardless. Anything else? Am I correct in that, Mr.
You're
Muntz?
correct. Yeah, the transient lodging tax has different purposes. This fee is simply for the registration and enforcement of short-term rentals, and really kind of trying to improve the livability in the areas where these exist, to kind of counteract some of the behaviors that are bothersome to the neighbors. People up late, you know, we've heard complaints about a lot of noise complaints, garbage, too many cars, and fires, and at times are in places where they shouldn't be, sitting around and just disturbing their neighbors. So that's what this fee does, and it's separate from the tourism goals of the transient lodging tax is for.
Okay. The other thing that's come up, and I've been asked to just clarify, and that relates to the zoning out there. So we have zoning which STRs are not allowed, period, as I understand it. And I may be some confusion about mountain resort residential, such as Collins Lake. So can you speak to that?
Yeah, in the code, we had exempted some of the commercial districts, and we're exempting type resorts. We haven't made any change to that portion of this. That's the same as it's been since it was adopted. And the applicability is for areas including within urban growth boundaries, but shall not apply within the boundaries of any incorporated city. The chapter does not apply to hotels, motels, bed and breakfast facilities, hostels, lodging, and resort accommodations in commercial zones, campgrounds, or recreational camping facilities or organized camps. So the mountain rural residential designation up on the mountain, this code would apply to. I know there's been some confusion on that. There is also a commercial zone up there, and a resort accommodation or hotel in a commercial zone, this would not apply to. But of course, the other part of this conversation that's come up is people having short-term rentals in our resource zones, like exclusive farm use zone, timber zones, and those are not allowed at all. And this is the reason why we were adding the land use compatibility statement, so that we're not inviting violations of state requirements under those resource zones, and we have a chance to review those before people come in, or hopefully before they come in and have already invested in creating a short-term rental space. They come and check with the county and learn what their options are, and then we can help them with answers.
Yeah, thanks for that. I appreciate that clarification. I just wanted to make a comment, and I'll yield back to the chair after, and that is that I did not run a rental business or a short-term rental or hotel, but I've been in a business that is regulated, and those regulations change frequently. And part of doing business is trying to keep up with that, complying, make sure you don't put yourself in a situation where you're being penalized or you have a fine. So it's a lot of work. after years and years and years, it becomes taxing on one person to continue to do that, but that's the nature of, unfortunately, business. And so I just want to just say that I understand that rules sometimes, or change in rules or regulations, are always not welcomed and sometimes are misunderstood or confused. So whatever we can do to provide clarity, here forward, our staff are ready to do that. So, Chair, I yield back.
Right. Any other comments?
No, I just, one clarification. In the report, Jeff, and I just want to make sure that I'm reading this right, it says increase short-term rental permit fees to generate approximately $558,100 of revenue to support short-term program staffing requirements. It's not short-term staffing, right? It's for the short-term rental program.
Short-term rental
Right.
staffing
It's
requirements.
not temporary.
So good editing.
Staffing requirements, right? Okay. I just want to clarify that it's not just for a short-term period that we're going to staff this, because I don't want anyone confused that we're only going to staff it for a little while and then stop. So there's that. And I just want to say, too, to thank the number of people that showed up to our town hall that we had up at Resort at the Mountain, or Mount Hood, Oregon Resort now. It's changed the name. We heard you loud and clear. We're taking action. And to my colleagues who worked on this diligently, to make sure we got something in place that has some teeth. And it's a little disconcerting to hear that only, out of 1,300, short-term rentals, less than 300 are actually registered. So I would say, too, that maybe at some point, once this program is up and running in the right way, and if that fee can be adjusted down, if we are ever at a place where we have the revenue needed, we could bring that back down to a number that is more palatable. It's not a lot of money. Like for a $300 a night, you're talking about $4.50. So it's not a huge amount of money, which is generally passed on to the renters anyway. But I think that we'll have to check metrics on this in 6 months or 8 months or something. So back to you, Chair.
All right. The only comment I wanted to make is just kind of echo Commissioner Helm. There was a huge turnout in Welch's on this issue, and I could appreciate all those people showing up. And one of the biggest things that they were really wanting some action, and I don't blame them, and want to apologize for the delay, but we did hear them loud and clear and came back and have kind of put things on the fast track. So, Mr. Muntz, thank you. You've been instrumental in moving this forward. It is quite a lot more complicated than I think a lot of people might understand, so thank you. And so next, we'll go ahead and move to open the public hearing portion of this item, and I'll turn to the clerk again. You want to help us with that?
I do have a few in-person folks. If you would like to comment, please fill out a blue card, and I will call you up in the order received. I will begin with Peggy Hollyoak. Please come forward.
Hi.
We're nice.
Thank you.
Please introduce yourself. You'll have 3 minutes.
My name is Peggy Holyoke. I also had a printer problem today. This is not much of what I had prepared to say. So I am one little person here, and I'm representing me, but I'm also representing other short-term rental hosts and small business people all over. I'm an Oregonian by birth. I've been an Oregonian for 50 plus of my 72 years. And I love Oregon. I love community. I love building. And I hope I can share a couple of stories that will help you see the other side, because it is complex. And I really do thank you for your service. It is not easy. I am certain of that. I'm a nurse, veteran nurse, 19 years, med-surg unit, Providence Seaside Hospital. I love listening to my patients, listening to their families, and then going to work to try to figure out the best outcome we can come up with for them, given all the circumstances. And it's hard, and it's never simple. When we decided we would retire to the Sandy area, before we could afford for me to quit work, so I still commute every week to do 2 12-hour shifts down there and then come back.
Wow.
But before we did that, we decided we wanted a beautiful property. We have a big family, and again, we love building community. I've volunteered with Special Olympics. I love hosting events, all kinds of things. So we called the county. 2 times we talked with them, and were assured that there was no ordinance that would stop us, or, would be a problem that we needed to be aware of for having a short-term rental in our primary home. It was a very simple home to make slight remodels so that we could use the major part of it to have guests from, and we've had from over 10 countries and more than half of the states in almost 5 years. I'll say 299 reviews and 4.97. My neighbor, I wrote her name down here, Rita Donahue, who said she would gladly be here as a support to what I'm saying, 40190 Southeast Thomas Road, if you want to talk with her. There has never been a noise issue. There has never been any issue. We see ourselves as adding to the community, as beautifying it, preserving the trees, preserving and promoting the businesses and the events and activities of our community. Another story. Years ago, my daughter's...
Take your time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Years ago, thank you. My daughter's second grade teacher told me sadly that the second grade Mother's Day brunch was canceled because of 2 boys with behavior problems. Not good government. Why not send 2 boys to the principal's office and hold the brunch? So I know it says performance Clackamas, build public trust through good government and ensure safe, healthy, and secure community. That is what I see my role as, helping you build public trust and have a safe, healthy, happy community and tourists all together. I love it. I love it as much as my nursing, but I can't do 12-hour shifts for the rest of my life. And so I'm here to say, what can you do to make it more hospitable to all those hosts who work very hard to increase the tourism dollars in the county, to support the fire? We've paid over $12,000 in transient lodging taxes already, to support emergency services, to help us do what we do really well when we are keeping the rules. Why not have those who don't keep the rules, and I have friends who live up in that area, and we're probably at that meeting, why not let them bear the financial brunt of how to operate the program? So that, yes, everybody, not just my neighbor, but everybody can have a community where they feel safe and healthy and happy and enjoy their beautiful country life. So, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next up, I have an Ian McCluskey.
Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, Mr. Chair.
Hi.
That's a powerful statement to follow. Thank you, Peggy. That was really beautiful. My name is Ian McCluskey. Like Peggy, I am a Clackamas County resident. I am a 7th-generation Oregonian, born and raised here, and I'm a member of the Mount Hood community. And I have saved 3 historic Mount Hood cabins with my own paint-splattered hands right here. I am what you would call, when it comes to STRs, a hands-on owner-operator. And I, too, want a safe, quiet, peaceful community. And I fully support all the rules on limiting the number of cars, the occupancy caps, the trash management. All of these rules make perfect sense. But some of the ones that are inserted into the current proposal do not. For one, I can't see that it distinguishes between the size or the type of short-term rental, and it treats the smallest cabins like the biggest ones, when common sense knows that the bigger ones have the most people, the most cars, and they also have the most resulting trash, noise, and complaint issues. Currently, the county allows parties up to 15 people. Our maximum occupancy at our cabin is 4. We have no issues, and we're not part of the problem that this ordinance is trying to solve. Yet, we're lumped into it. The revision adds new expenses and new uncertainty to family operators like me where there wasn't before. The proposed addition that concerns me the most is that every registration expires after just 2 years and requires ongoing renewal. I respectfully understand that business requires often permits and that comes with changes in fees, but The Mount Hood cabins up there that like ours that have survived for 100 years have done so through hard work, pouring time, energy, money, and love into them so that they can be experienced 100 years from now. We make preservation decisions over generations, and this proposal would force us to work under a 2-year permit horizon. And that's hard for business. If a property has demonstrated years of compliance, non-expiring use should be grandfathered in and not discretionary and not uncertain. And I want to weed out the party house problem as much as my neighbors. But this proposal takes kind of a one-size-fits-all policy approach. So my request is simple. Please do not pass the adoption of these proposals as exactly as written, and focus on the target root cause, distinguishing different property types, and works with responsible owners like myself, and perhaps Peggy, and instead of treating every single short-term rental as if they were the same. And I would love to be part of that solution. I would volunteer my time and come here again and again, or be part of any committee and any task force to be part of that solution. Thank you, respectfully.
All right, thank you very much.
Next up, I have an Angeline Alder.
Hi, good morning. My name's Angeline Adler. I own an STR up at Mount Hood. We have had it for more than 7 years. I'm on next door, so I've seen over the last many years about residents complaining, justifiably so, regarding some of the way that people don't manage their STRs, unfortunately. Like the gentleman who just spoke, we are very hands-on, probably more so than most of them. We're up there with the housekeeper, we're taking care of items she doesn't, we're managing the trash, we're very selective of who we rent to, that they have to have established reviews, all of this. So when these rules went into effect, I really didn't have a lot of areas for concern because I thought that a lot of them were justified. But when I'm looking at a couple of these, I will echo what the gentleman said in terms of distinguishing property types, because you've got huge cabins up in government camp that can hold, 10, 12 or more people. Then you have ones that just accept, a few. And so I think that's really important. I think the STRs provide not only income, but an opportunity for people to come to Mount Hood specifically and enjoy the area where there is a real lack of any hotels that are available or hotels that a family can afford when they're looking at, renting multiple rooms versus a cabin. I am concerned regarding the increase of the fees, and so I understand that that is passed off to the consumer. However, one of the things we didn't have was I think it's the 6% tax, adding on then to this 0.85, now talking about doubling that. Since the current administration took effect in the United States, I have seen our STR revenue drop by half. I think it's the inflation, now we have the war, the uncertainty of the tariffs. It is just added and added and added. So right now, I'm not making any money on my STR. I'm barely breaking even. And so when I'm looking at this increasing just another fee, I'm thinking, where is the 0.85% money going to right now? Is that not going to help fund a staff position for this? And then when I think it's like $500,000 for 2 staff positions, now I realize there's probably some other factors that are figured in there, but that seems high and excessive to me. I am a business owner also, and I know if I'm hiring 2 employees that they're not costing me $500,000. So I think taking it into account that I understand there has to be some oversight, but when we keep adding on additional fees and we want people, like, I charge less for my cleaning fees than I pay my housekeeper. And I do that so that I'm trying to be approachable for people that are booking, that they can afford a $1,000 weekend just for a 3-night stay. And I think that's where a lot of these families that were kind of right in the middle of what they were able to afford and adding something onto that, where I'm thinking, well, where is the money currently going to now? Shouldn't it be going to fund a position or two that's mentioned in here? So I also have an issue regarding the 2 years. 2 years goes by really quickly. And that is also then with another added fee for reapplying for it. And so I'm thinking, why do I need to pay another fee to reapply for something that I already have? And so when you start talking about all of these, it really adds up and over the course of time. And I'm not sure what is that fee then going to increase. So when we're looking at all of those, is really taking into account to where we're at with our economy and adding yet again another tax. And I think that was my biggest concerns that I had. So I thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you very much.
My last in-person comment that I have registered is Mary Ganschow. If you would like to testify, please come forward. If you have not had a chance to testify and would like to do so, please fill out a blue card and drop it in the basket, and I will collect it.
Good morning. Thank you all for being here on representing what the needs of our community and our county is. And I appreciate the laws that and the regulations that we have. That's what keeps us safe. My name is Mary Ganshaw, and I live in Sandy. I was born and raised in Oregon, and love it dearly and want to keep what we have here, which is community. And all three of the speakers before, I'll try not to repeat because I agree with everything they have said. I've been a health educator. I've been emergency medical technician in a middle school. And I found one of the loveliest things of all is to be a bus driver. My real goal is to make my small part of my farm environmental education for these children around me. And I love regulation because it makes things safe. I've taught driver's ed. I've taught traffic school many, many years. And soon I'll be retiring. My goal is to make an opportunity for children to love our environment and see the reason why we take care of it and why we take care of our health, which then plays into supporting our community for people who want to take care of their health and their community together. My concern is also for small farmers. Making a living with these designated land is difficult. Raising timber is difficult. There are years you will make nothing. So how do you support yourself and your retirement? My husband and I are older. We're getting ready to retire. How do you support yourself if you're not able to use the resources in your land, in your home, to support yourself? And as I said, my goal is to support my community in outdoor education and health, having to do with farming and having to do with
the trees that we're growing. If those regulations could be used to be fair across the board, because small business owners are extremely different from the bigger ones. And we're trying to make a livelihood, we're trying to make our community together. And I've never had one complaint, just to let you know, not one. In fact, people send their relatives to us to stay there. So it can be a very positive one.
Thank you.
I have one additional in-person comment. It is from Jonah Nail. Please come forward. Please introduce yourself. You'll have 3 minutes.
I'm Jonah Nail. I'm born and raised Oregonian as well, and owner-operator of a STR in Clackamas County. I'd like to just say that I agree with the previous people that have testified about the current proposals that are before you. I just kind of feel like I just need to put my 2 cents in. Also, I don't agree with a lot of the proposals. I do agree that there needs to be regulations, of course. There are bad managers out there. I manage my own. I had a management company for a while. I didn't think they did a good job. I don't believe I got any noise complaints or anything. But management companies can be lax. They could just kind of be focusing on just how much they could, maximize the amount of occupancy, and doesn't matter to them if there's a bunch of trash and as many cars. But as an owner, I'm there after every person comes, and I'm there before the next one comes, and it's become it's our family home, actually, that my wife and I, and with our kids, bought and want to keep forever. Anyhow, I just wanted to say that I think that increasing the fees is going to be burdensome. It's already tough to make a living doing it as it is, or to maintain the property with the state tax, and then this fee, and then you got the cleaning fees and the maintenance fees and the your supplies, your utilities, the property tax, everything involved. It just keeps going up and up and up, and of course then you got to charge more, and the more you charge, the less people can afford to come, and so on and so forth. That just keeps snowballing. I don't understand why we can't do like a lot of the other jurisdictions in the state and other states, that there just be a set permit fee. I have one in Arizona now that, it's like a $250 a year fee. There's an application fee, but then it's just a $250 fee a year. I've got friends that have them at the coast. There's a similar thing there. It's like an annual fee of $300. Here with Clackamas County, I've been doing this. I registered for this program when it first started, and so I've been paying the 0.85% since it began. And it's burdensome a little bit when you have to do a monthly reporting. It's like every month I got to report. I got to sit there and sit down and fill out a report and send it in, and then do the state one. It's not that bad once you get used to it, but it's like, man, why can't we just do an annual fee? Anyhow, that's what I got to say about that. So anyway, thanks you guys for doing
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
That is my last in-person comment. I will move to online testimony, beginning with Patricia Erdenberger. Patricia, please introduce yourself. You'll have 3 minutes.
Hello, I'm Pat Erdenberger. I'm the chair of the Hoodland CPO. I want to thank the Board of Commissioners, Gary Schmidt, Mr. Munn, and the staff in particular working for the commissioners for recognizing the need to create a program from a pilot project. I think the pilot went on for so many years that it was misunderstood and thought to be permanent. There was always a thought to improving it at the end of the pilot. Managing a program is more than hiring 2 people and adding a vehicle for code enforcement to use. It's websites, it's interactions with perhaps a consultant, perhaps a web developer, whatever's required to make the program usable. For example, you could make registration easier online. You could make filling out the forms easier. If people are having difficulty with that, they should do that. But we're literally talking about 65 cents on $100. That's what more people are paying, and the visitors will pay that. So I want to thank everyone who worked on this. It has made a step forward, and there may be tweaks necessary as time goes by, but we thank you very, very much for your hard work on this. And thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, I have a Brett Fisher. Please introduce yourself. You'll have 3 minutes.
Yes, thank you. Hi, Commissioners. I've been testifying on this for a number of years now, and those who don't know, I represent Collins Lake Resort and the Grand Lodges up in Government Camp. I am also a full-time resident of the Welch's area, so I understand the need to regulate the STRs. But my testimony, once again, will be about Collins Lake Resort and the Grand Lodges, which consist of 199 units up in Government Camp. We are governed by homeowners associations as well, which I oversee. And I think what I heard a few minutes ago was that the rules change and all the accommodations within the resort just have to be part of that. I understand that, but the reality of it is it makes no sense for the developments at Collins Lake and the Grand Lodges. And I was vice president of the development company that built these 199 condos here. And we have 2 full-time residents within the full resort. It was designed and developed as a rental resort where homeowners could put their unit into rental programs, rent on their own, etc. We have almost 24-hour coverage of staff on the resort. I can guarantee that there has not been one single complaint called to the county from Collins Lake Resort. And I understand that it was developed on MRR property. Again, I was part of that process. But what I would like the commissioners to consider is possibly expanding that exclusion or possibly putting in a resort process or application that particular resorts could fill out that could be exempt from the process, because it just, frankly, it just doesn't make common sense. The resort operates completely independently in terms of security, trash, parking, etc. We already monitor those and police those. Homeowners pay an association due to do that already. And we're just duplicating that process, which will never be policed within the resort from the county level. So again, as a solution, I'd like to propose that there possibly be an application process to be exempt from this, from a resort property that is not on what the county considers commercial zoning. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Next up, I have Michelle Richardson. Please introduce yourself. You'll have 3 minutes.
Hello, my name is Michelle Richardson. I've lived in Welch's over 7 years. I own a historic cabin built in 1940. It's a whopping 456 square feet. We need more properties like this available for small families to purchase. We need more properties like this for long-term rentals. I would like to say thank you for changing the regulations. I think this is a good start, getting some code enforcement up here. But I feel like the short-term rentals, we are saturated. You will hear me say this over and over and over. So my sympathies lie with the full-time residents, not the short-term rentals. You are running a business in my neighborhood. Would you like to live next to a 7-Eleven with people coming and going all the time? I have way too much traffic on my small dirt road in my community. As business owners, I would like to encourage them to make investments elsewhere. We are saturated, and that's why you can't make money, that's why you can't have full bookings. Because we are saturated with short-term rentals. I would like to see no more new short-term rentals. I have researched and I noticed that other communities, even globally, have banned Airbnbs, Vacasas, and those sorts of businesses. We used to have a couple of rental businesses that were owned locally and managed locally. Let's put those people back in business. Let's get rid of Airbnbs and Vacasas, and let's put that money back into our community. If you were a business owner, would you put a pizza place in a town with 12 pizza places? No, you would look for a different type of business and invest your money elsewhere. That's what I'm leaning towards. I used to be able to see the sunset from my house. Clackamas County allowed someone to build a short-term rental 10 feet from my fence. I don't want to live here anymore. I can't see the sunset from my backyard. And it also increases my chance. It also increases my chances of my cabin burning down, and it is a historic cabin. It cannot be replaced with insurance money. I guess I like to say thank you again for making some changes. I think it's a good start. I do not have any sympathy for the people who are saying they can't make enough money off their short-term rentals, and I would encourage them to invest their monies elsewhere. Thank you.
Next up, Marty Boney. You have 3 minutes. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Marty Bown. I'm a board member of the Hoodland CPO and also chair of the Land Use Committee out here. Just a couple of quick things about what's being proposed here. Number one, I really appreciate all the work that all of you have put into this and for your communication with the community up here. Maximum occupancy. I'd like to see that stated as 24 hours per day, rather, because a lot of people interpret that as just being on nighttime hours. At 15 would be the maximum during the nighttime hours. And then we end up with 30 or 40 people all day long. So I'd like to see that clarified. Also, let's see, the septic issue. I realize that you're doing this land use compatibility study. But I'd still like it defined a little bit differently for STRs that are on septic systems. 2 bedrooms would mean 4 people. The way it's written now, that would be 4 people plus 4 more, which basically then puts 4 bedrooms on a 2-bedroom approved septic system. So I'd like to see that clarified. Yes, we do have oversaturation up here, and because I am a retired realtor, I watch the market still. Many of those STRs are being sold because we are oversaturated up here, so that's kind of interesting. That's basically what I have to say, and I appreciate your time, and thanks again, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, Richard Carlson. You have 3 minutes. Please introduce yourself. Mr. Carlson, you are muted. Mr. Carlson, you are still muted.
How's that?
That works very well, sir. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Again, my name is Richard Carlson. I'm a resident of Welch's, and I'm the chairperson of the Rippling River Homeowners Association. And first of all, I'd like to say that I appreciate the changes that have been made and the responsiveness to all of the concerns that were expressed when you folks were up here, and the timeliness of your response. Keeping in mind that we are primarily talking about residential neighborhoods, I would like to call your attention and ask that you perhaps reconsider a few sections. The first might be the definition of sleeping area that refers to designed and intended for sleeping. When does that mean? Designed and intended when? At the time the structure was built, or if I buy a home, can I redesign it so that I can maximize the number of renters in my home? Secondly, the occupancy requirements, 2 occupants per sleeping area plus 4. 3 bedrooms, that means 10 renters. 4 bedrooms, 12 renters. 5 bedrooms, 14 renters. How would you like to live next door or across the street from a place with 10 renters, 12 renters, or 14 renters, or heaven forbid, 15 renters? 15 is a lot in a residential neighborhood. We're talking a party with 15. Secondly, the parking spaces, 1 parking space per bedroom. 3 bedrooms, that's 3 parking spaces for 10 people. That's going to result in a lot of on-street parking. 4 spaces for 12 people, 5 for 14. In a residential neighborhood, there is going to be a significant amount of on-street parking. Garbage, I appreciate the garbage section. Placement could be an issue, and prompt removal. We've had people up here who put the garbage out, days before the garbage is going to be picked up, and it stays out there for a week. We encourage our owners to put out the morning of or the night before it's picked up and put the cans away immediately. They don't need to be out there for a week, and so maybe there could be something in there that would perhaps address that issue. I did have a question, and I'm not sure about this, but noise and parking violations, are those regarded as STR violations, or are they treated separately under noise and other ordinances? I ask that because when we consider the potential revocation, if someone's had 5 noise violations, can that lead to a potential revocation? Also, I see violations, citations can be issued to the owner or an occupant. And I wonder about that because it seems like an occupant could be in lieu of the owner, and it should be the owner that's responsible to issue a citation to somebody that comes up here to rent and then goes home. That's not going to be effective. So hopefully those citations would go to an owner. I also have a question on whether or not there should be any type of mandatory revocation after some number of violations, whatever that would be. I understand that what happens is subject to a hearings officer, but at some point isn't enough enough? And should these regulations perhaps say that, or is it subject to the unfettered discretion of a hearings officer? So I would ask that question, when is enough enough? The penalties, hopefully when the penalties are set, they will have teeth to discourage violations, because I think after all, the goal of these changes, and again, I support the changes, but the goal is to prevent violations in the first place. So
I
that
know. If I could just interrupt, we have a lot more people that want to testify. So if you could give you a second there to wrap it up for us.
I can absolutely do that. The bottom line is if these properties are run properly, then ST owners will avoid those penalties and there should not be a problem. That's all I would have to add. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next comment is from Peter Himes. If you would like to testify and have not had a chance, please use the raise hand feature and I will call on you in the order received. Mr. Himes, please go ahead.
Yes, this is Peter Himes from Welch's, Oregon. I'm also a Hoodland CPO board member. I want to thank the Clackamas County Board and all your staff for the tireless efforts to get this in place. I myself have been working on this with Clackamas County since 2018. So I'm very appreciative of moving this forward to adoption on June 25th. My biggest comment is the thing that everybody seems to miss is STRs are a commercial business in a residential setting, and they require regulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you would like to testify on Chapter 8.10, please use the raise hand feature and I will call on you in the order received. Mr. Chair, I do not have any other comments.
All right. I was getting a message. We were getting a lot of people signing. So thank you all for your testimony. And right now I will close the public portion of this meeting. And the first thing I'd like to do is maybe turn to council to answer a few of the questions that arose. There were some questions about noise violation and a number of other issues. And I thought, Mr. Munch, we might start with you just talking about that.
Yeah, happy to. The noise question came up a number of times, of course, throughout this entire process, and it was addressed at the policy session that Tony led a couple of weeks ago on this matter as well. The noise code is enforced by the sheriff's office. However, it's also a violation of this chapter. And so we added additional language into the draft statute that deals with giving our hearings officer the ability to impose other requirements like noise and occupancy monitoring systems for owners of the property. The noise violation could be assessed to the renter, not just the owner. So the people who are actually causing the problems would get a citation, but then it gives us an ability with problem properties to impose additional requirements. That if these large properties are continuously hosting big parties, we have a monitor system so that we can make sure that those noise complaints are addressed quickly and then continue to accumulate these other violations and they can be addressed.
All right, thank you. Any other comments you want to address? I know Commissioner Savas, go ahead.
I just asked Mr. Munz to respond. There was, I think, some confusion about the registration fee. There's not if you're a recurring and you renew every 2 years, you're not paying an additional fee every 2 years. Can you just speak to that?
Yeah, that's correct. We're just going to have the one-time fee for the land use compatibility statement. Everything else is just as the percentage. So if you're continuing to operate, you don't need to file for a new land use compatibility statement, separate from any changes to the structure, of course. But if you're just operating as you have been, it's just going to be that percentage.
Yeah, so the registration fee, there is no registration fee. It is free, only their one-time land use compatibility statement, right?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? All right. With that being said, before we kind of maybe go to a motion, I just wanted to kind of say a couple things here is, boy, this is a fine balancing act. It's to help protect the rights of the homeowners. It's also to help support short-term rentals, and it's about. I will just be frank. Sometimes it's the small population that causes the problem for the whole, which can be frustrating. And The other thing I wanted to say, some of the comments that were made, that I do believe this is a work in progress. I feel like this is a start, a chance for us to continue and reevaluate. I think there were some good points about large and small operations, and I can appreciate all your hard work at building that on your own and really trying to make a business and taking care of the history of our county. I mean, I value that. So I think I believe as we move forward, we're going to constantly look at evaluating and seeking input to really do our very best job on this. And it has been something I think the community has been wanting something done for a long time. And so the other issue I think Commissioner Helm brought up too is that number one, there's so many of them, we have to get a handle on them, right? And perhaps after that is done, the maintenance level cost might be less. I don't know. But I think those are the things that we really want to continue to evaluate. I mean, our goal is to really help support business and keep costs as low as we possibly can. And the one lady, I think she left, but I couldn't agree with her more. We're going to talk about it a little bit later today, but economically, tourism is down. We see that really hitting a lot of businesses from hotels to short-term rentals, and the whole economy is impacting. So it's important we all work together to get through this tough economic time. And really, I just want you all to know we're really being cognitive about any fees. We realize that's a big issue, and want you to know that we're constantly looking at this. So with that, if there's no other comments from my colleagues, I'll just ask, is there a motion?
Chair, I move we read the ordinance by title only.
Second.
All right. Commissioner Savas has moved to read the ordinance by title only. Commissioner Helm has seconded that. Any further discussion or comments? All right, clerk, will you please call the poll?
Commissioner Schrader.
Aye.
Commissioner Helm.
Aye.
Commissioner Savas.
Aye.
Chair Roberts.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0, Mr. Chair.
All right, I will ask the clerk to please read the ordinance by title only for us.
Ordinance 07-2026, an ordinance adopting Clackamas County Code, Chapter 8.10, short-term rentals, and declaring an emergency.
All right. Thank you. The next hearing on this ordinance is scheduled for June 27th, 2026 at our business meeting. So that's will be up on the 27th. So Gary, you want to talk about the next item?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Next is the consent agenda for the Board of County Commissioners. Tony, would you please read the consent agenda? And actually, before you do, the business meeting is actually Thursday, June 25th. I'm sorry, the script was incorrect. Okay. I want to state that for the record. It's Thursday, June 25th is the second reading. Sorry about that, but yes, consent agenda. Tony, would you please read the consent agenda?
Clackamas County consent agenda. Elected officials, item 1, approval of previous business meeting minutes for the Board of County Commissioners. Technology services, item 1, approval of an amendment to a service level agreement with the City of Milwaukee for a new redundant dark fiber circuit. Amendment value is $6,288 with no time increase. Total agreement value is $166,670 for 6 years. Funding is through Clackamas Broadband Exchange monthly cable lease revenue. No county general funds are involved. Clackamas 911, also known as CCOM. Item 1, approval of a grant acceptance with Oregon Emergency Management for call center facility upgrades. Grant value is $750,000 for 1 year. Funding is through 2024 congressionally directed spending award and a required match of up to $250,000 in budgeted department funds, which include 911 taxes and user fees. No county general funds are involved. Juvenile, item 1, approval of an amendment to an intergovernmental agreement with Lynn County Juvenile Department for emergency fee-for-service juvenile detention beds. Amendment value has no cost and extension of 2 years. Total agreement value is $255,500 for 4 years. If necessary, funding is through budgeted county general funds. Transportation and Development, item 1, approval of a resolution declaring the public necessity and purpose for the acquisition of rights-of-way and easements and authorizing good faith negotiations and, if necessary, condemnation proceedings for the Southeast Eagle Creek Road, Southeast Deuce Road intersection improvements project. Project value is $2,192,619, funding through the Community Road Fund and System Development charges. No county general funds are involved. Health, Housing, Human Services, item 1, approval of an amendment to a contract with the Native American Rehabilitation Association of the Northwest, Incorporated, for supportive housing case management services at Tukwila Springs. Amendment value is $326,216 for 1 year. Total agreement value is $652,432 for 3 years. Funding is through Metro Supportive Housing Services Measure funds. No county general funds are involved. Item 2, approval of an amendment to a personal services contract with Up and Over for homeless outreach and supportive housing case management services. Amendment value is $812,550 for 1 year. Total agreement value is $3,588,292.49 for 5 years. Funding is through Metro Supportive Housing Services Measure funds. No county general funds are involved. Item 3, approval of an amendment to a personal services contract with the Father's Heart Street Ministry for Tukwila Springs resident services. Amendment value is $479,463 for 1 year. Total agreement value is $1,020,122.25 for 2 years. Funding through Metro Supportive Housing Services Measure funds. No county general funds are involved. Item 4, approval of an amendment to a revenue intergovernmental agreement with the Oregon Health Authority to update rural public health service financing. Amendment value is $677,714 for 2 months. Total agreement value is $7,346,693.61 for 2 years. Funding is through the Oregon Health Authority. No county general funds are involved. Item 5, approval of a grant application for continued Mount Hood Corridor Transit Service. Application value is $1,860,000 for 2 years. Funding is through the Federal Highway Administration. No county general funds are involved. Mr. Chair, that concludes the list.
All right, may I have a motion?
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All right, I think Martha beat you by a hair there, Paul.
Oh, sorry.
That's
Sorry.
all right. Commissioner Helm has moved to approve the consent agenda, seconded by Commissioner Schrader. Any further discussion? Seeing none, will you please call the poll?
Commissioner Savas.
Aye.
Commissioner Schrader.
Aye.
Commissioner Helm.
Aye.
Chair Roberts.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0, Mr. Chair.
All right, Gary, what do you have?
Thank you. Next is County Administrator Update. That's me. I'd like to recognize our county employees and our teams for the excellent work they do. Today, want to honor the team from the Public Health Division of Health, Housing, and Human Services and the Planning Division of Transportation and Development, who both jointly received a state award. The Oregon's Department of Land Conservation and Development awarded us the 2026 Achievement in Community Engagement. This award recognizes community engagement in land use planning activities, including short and long-term range planning, community vision, and similar activities. Our award was received for the Framework for Engagement and Decision-Making with Underserved Populations. This funding and the program supported public health in creating a community profile, which is a detailed report about the people who make up our community, and the Framework for Engagement and Decision-Making. Both were used to update our transportation system plan. All of this work was recognized by the state for the Community Engagement Award. See, we do some community engagement well here at the County Commissioners. Thank you. Congratulations to our team from Planning Division and Public Health Division for their excellent work and their state recognition. That is my update for today. Thank you, Commissioners.
All right, so I'll ask my colleagues. I know 2 of them have to be in an event. If we pass on Commissioner Communication today.
That's fine.
Is that all right?
That's fine.
Is it okay? All right. With that being said, I know they have to be at a meeting. So on behalf of the board, thank you for joining us. And this meeting is adjourned, and I'm going to come see you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.